Imagine for a moment that after years of feeling invisible, of being nothing more than a shadow in your own home, someone appears, someone younger, someone attentive, someone who seems to have been sent by state to remind you that you are still a woman, that you are still alive. You fall in love with the desperation of someone who has been wandering a desert for a decade. But one day, the air in your home begins to feel different. It's not an infidelity of the kind, or that leaves traces of perfume or suspicious messages on a phone. It is something much more subtle, something hidden in glances, in the silences that fall when you enter a room, in an energy you can't quite
explain, but that makes the hair on your neck stand up. Then that question arises, that poisonous doubt that no mother should ever have to ask herself. What if the man I love, the man who gave me back my smile, is getting too close to my daughter? Today, we are going to read Monica's letter, a woman trapped in a nightmare she doesn't know how to wake up from. I warn you now, what you are about to hear is not black and white. It is a scale of gray that will make you question your own limits. My name is Monica. I am 43 years old, and I have a 16-year-old daughter whom I will call Sophia. For a long time, my life was a straight line, monotonous and gray. My previous relationship ended in a devastating way. My ex-husband made sure to erode every ounce of my self-esteem until I was convinced that my time had passed, that I was no longer attractive or valuable beyond my role as a mother and an employee. I stopped feeling like a woman. I became a machine for solving problems, paying bills, and taking care of everyone else. Loneliness became my comfort zone until I met Daniel. He is 29 years old. Yes, I know the age gap is the first thing everyone judges, but with me, he wasn't the typical immature young man. Daniel was attentive, present, and intense in a way I had never experienced. He made me feel seen. He listened to me as if my words were the most important thing in the world.
I began to notice the way Daniel looked at her. It wasn't an obvious, lewd stare. It was something deeper, a constant observation. Then came the continence. Daniel would frequently tell me that. Sophia was incredibly mature for her age, that she had an adult mindset, and that you could talk to her about topics other kids her age wouldn't understand. At first, I took it as a compliment to my parenting, but I felt proud that he saw in her what I saw. But the compliments stopped feeling that way when I began to sense that he was seeking out moments to be alone with her. One night, while I was finishing things up in the kitchen, I heard them in the living room. They were laughing. But it wasn't just any laugh. It wasn't the laugh of a stepfather with his stepdaughter. It was a complicit laugh, an intimate laugh, the kind that only exists between two people sharing a secret. The exact moment I stepped into the room, silence fell like a lead weight. It wasn't dramatic. No one jumped off the couch, but the energy in the room shifted instantly. It was enough for something inside of me to break.
From that moment on, I could no longer see things the same way. I started observing patterns I had previously ignored. I've noticed that Daniel looks for conversation topics just to stay alone with her when I go to the supermarket or run a quick errand. I've noticed that Sophia, who was always a simple girl who hated dressing up, now spends hours in front of the mirror and puts on her best clothes, specifically on the days she knows Daniel is coming over. There is a comfort between them, a way of understanding each other through glances that makes me feel like a stranger at my own table. And the worst part of all, the thing that eats at my soul every night, is that I love him. I truly love him. After so many years of an emotional desert, I don't want to lose the light he brought into my life. It terrifies me to think I might be exaggerating, that I am just an insecure woman projecting my fears onto the two people I love most. But other times, my intuition, that gut-wrenching scream from within, tells me I'm not crazy. My daughter doesn't tell me things like she used to. She avoids me, and that distance hurts more than I can explain. I don't know what to do. If I confront Daniel, I risk destroying my relationship and looking like a paranoid mess. If I do nothing, What if I am allowing something dark to grow under my own roof?
Monica is not confused. Monica is split into two pieces that don't fit together. One part of her has already seen the truth, but the other part, the woman who finally feels loved, doesn't want to accept it because the cost of that truth is too high. It is important to understand that truly problematic situations in a family don't usually start with an obvious act of betrayal. They start exactly like this, with small transgressions of boundaries that you can rationally justify. A man saying that teenager is mature isn't necessarily a danger sign, but when that comment is accompanied by a search for intimacy and a change in the household dynamics, it becomes a red flag that cannot be ignored. Monica is feeling the energy, and energy does not lie.
There are three clear possibilities here. The first is that nothing is actually happening, and Monica is projecting her insecurity due to the age difference with Daniel. She fears he will eventually look for someone younger and sees that threat in her own daughter. The second possibility is that Daniel is enjoying the attention and validation he gets from a teenager. Perhaps he doesn't intend for it to become physical, but he is crossing dangerous emotional boundaries to feed his own ego. The third possibility is the darkest, that there is a deliberate intention, and Daniel is being clever enough to manipulate the situation subtly, gaining the daughter's trust to displace the mother. And there is a factor no one wants to mention because it's taboo. The daughter is not a passive object. At 16, receiving special attention from a handsome, older man who is also her mother's partner can generate enormous emotional confusion. She may be feeling a mixture of power, curiosity, and validation that she doesn't know how to manage, and that creates a wall between her and her mother.
Monica stands before clouds that only promise pain. She can choose to ignore everything, move forward, and convince herself it's all in her head to save her relationship, but that will leave her living in a state of constant hypervigilance, dying inside every time she sees them laugh. She can confront Daniel directly at the risk of him denying everything, at calling her crazy, and her using the man she loves. Or she can try to talk to her daughter, though this could forever break the teenager's trust in her if he feels her mother is accusing her of something improper. There is no perfect option, only consequences that will mark the rest of their lives. And what if the daughter doesn't understand what she's feeling either? What if she thinks it's an innocent game while Daniel is weaving a much more complex web? That would change everything, because it would mean the danger is imminent.
Now is the time for you, the listeners, to get involved. What do you think is happening in this house? Do you think Monica has let her insecurities take control and is about to destroy a healthy relationship out of pure fear? Or do you think that knot in Monica's stomach is the clearest warning that something very bad is about to happen? Is the problem Daniel's attitude, or is it the dynamic of silence that has been created between mother and daughter? We want to read your opinions, because sometimes, from the outside, the shadows are much clearer than from within. Monica, if you are listening to this somewhere, I want to tell you, do not ignore what you feel. Your instinct wasn't born out of nowhere. It was born from years of knowing your daughter and knowing yourself. Don't make decisions out of panic.
But don't make them out of willful blindness either. It's not just your happiness as a woman at stakes here. It's the safety of your home and the emotional health of your daughter. The love of a partner can be beautiful, but the bond with a child is the only one that should never have shadows. Do not let the fear of loneliness prevent you from seeing the light of truth, no matter how painful it may be. Your home is your sanctuary, and no one has the right to turn it into a labyrinth of doubts and suspicions. Listen to your inner voice, because it already knows the answer that your heart does not yet dare to accept.